Welcome back to Masked FC, where we turn smart analysis into winning bets. We are currently on fire, 12 picks in a row cashed. Over the past 2 days, our community swept the board, 7 winning picks on January 20th and 5 more on January 21st, all over 1.5 goals bets hitting their mark. To top it off, we even added 2 live bets on our Discord, both over 1.5 around 150 odds, and both of those cashed as well. It's been an incredible hot streak, and the best part is every win is publicly tracked in our Discord server for full transparency. No smoke and mirrors, just wins you can verify yourself. This kind of consistency doesn't happen by accident. We've built a strategy that the bookies truly fear. Well-researched, data-driven picks delivered free to our community. Each win is logged and recorded in our Discord's tracking channels, so you can see our exact results. When we say we're on a streak, you better believe it's documented for everyone to see. This accountability is what sets us apart and gives you confidence that our hot run is 100% real. Why you should join our Discord? If you're not already in our Discord, you're missing out on the full experience. Our Discord server is where the magic continues beyond these videos. Live picks. We share additional live in-play bets in real time, just like those 2 winners we hit yesterday. When we spot an opportunity during a match, Discord members get the alert instantly. Live scores and game chat. A dedicated live score channel keeps you updated on games as they happen, so you can follow our picks and chat with fellow members about the action. Wins board with proof. We maintain a wins board where every winning bet is posted with a screenshot for proof. There's no better feeling than seeing that wall of green check marks grow, and it's all verified. Daily results tracking. Every day's picks, win or lose, are tracked openly. We recap the results so you know exactly how we're doing. This full daily tracking means you get the truth every single day. Join the Discord, link in the description, to take your involvement to the next level. It's completely free. You'll get all our live picks and insights, and you'll become part of a community that celebrates winning together. The value you get in there is incredible. Essentially, a live feed of smart bets and insightful analysis at your fingertips. Don't just watch our success, be a part of it. Now, let's carry this momentum forward and dive into the over 1.5 goals picks for January 22. Over 1.5 goal picks for January 22. All right, we have 9 matches on January 22nd, where our model sees strong value on the over 1.5 goals market. We're going to break down each game with confidence and clarity. Remember, over 1.5 goals means we need at least 2 total goals in the match, and based on form, style, and motivation, these fixtures all have a great shot to deliver. Let's get into it. NK Dinamo Zagreb versus FCSB Europa League. First up, Dinamo Zagreb versus FCSB in the Europa League. This is a late-stage group, league phase clash, and it's essentially do or die for both sides. Dinamo and FCSB are sitting near the cutoff line for qualification, so neither can afford a timid match. We expect urgency from the start. Dinamo Zagreb at home in front of their passionate fans will push hard for a win. They've had a shaky defense in Europe, conceding 13 goals in 6 matches. But that just means their games open up. In fact, Dinamo's Europa League outings have averaged around 3.5 total goals per game, 8 scored, 13 conceded, which is a goldmine for over 1.5 bettors. FCSB, on the other hand, also have leaky backlines and decent attack. They've scored 7 and conceded 11 in their campaign, about 3.0 goals per game on average for their matches. With both teams knowing a draw is not very useful, expect an attacking mindset. Neither will be content to sit back for a 0 or 1-0. They simply can't afford that. The likely scenario is an open game with chances at both ends. Whether Dinamo's flare up front or FCSB's counter-attacking yields a goal, once the first one comes, the other side will be forced to respond. Over 1.5 goals is the right read here, and our model shows a clear value edge. This match has all the ingredients for at least a 1-1 or 2-0 type of scoreline, if not more. We're confidently backing goals in Zagreb to kick off our picks. Ferencvarosi TC versus Panathinaikos Europa League. Next, we head to Budapest for Ferencvarosi versus Panathinaikos. Ferencvarosi TC have been in red-hot form, and playing at their Groupama Arena, they love to attack. They've got 5 wins in their last 6 matches overall, and they know how to find the net. Panathinaikos is a disciplined Greek side, but when it comes to this Europa League campaign, they haven't been in dull games either. Goal stats back this up. Over 2.5 goals were scored in 6 of Ferencvarosi's last 10 matches, and similarly 67% of Panathinaikos' last 6 Europa games went over 2.5. That tells us both teams frequently see at least a couple of goals in their matches, and over 1.5 should be even more of a given. From a tactical perspective, Ferencvaros will push the pace at home. They play a high-tempo, attacking style, pressing for goals early. Panathinaikos might try to start cautiously, but if they concede, they'll have to open up. And if Panathinaikos score first, Ferencvaros will absolutely crank up the pressure to equalize. Either way, the game shouldn't stall at 1-0 for long. We expect something like a 2-0, 2-1, or even higher score because Ferencvaros' offense is clicking, and Panathinaikos has enough quality to contribute a goal as well. The model indicates a solid edge on over 1.5 here, seeing this as a likely multi-goal contest. We go in with confidence on this pick, envisioning an exciting night in Hungary with goals on the menu. Red Bull Salzburg versus FC Basel 1893 Europa League. Now to Austria, where Red Bull Salzburg host FC Basel. On paper, this might seem tricky. Both teams have had uneven results, but those results have often come with goals. Salzburg's Europa League journey has been rough. They've lost 5 of their last 6 in Europe, which sounds bad for them, but good for an over 1.5 bet. Because when Salzburg struggle, it's usually due to defensive lapses rather than 0-0 games. They often end up in high-scoring affairs trying to chase the game. At home in Salzburg, they've actually managed a few wins in other competitions and typically score in front of their fans. They'll be desperate to get a result here to save some face, so expect the Red Bulls to come out aggressively. Basel, meanwhile, have been drawing a lot of games recently. A draw might not be enough for them either, so Basel will also be looking for a win. They've shown they can score on the road. A 50% away win rate in recent matches suggests they do attack when given chances. Now consider style. Salzburg plays a proactive, high-press game that can lead to goals for and against. Basel is a bit more cautious, but they have savvy forwards who can capitalize on spaces. Their earlier meeting, these teams have already seen each other once this season, was a tight affair, but now the stakes are higher for this second encounter. Both sides know a win is needed, so the second half especially could open up if it's level or if one team is trailing. A 1-1 draw is very plausible at minimum, and that alone cashes our bet. But we're thinking it could even be 2-1 either way. Over 1.5 goals looks strong. Our model finds value here, projecting enough offensive quality on the pitch to get at least 2 goals by the final whistle. Salzburg's backs-against-the-wall mentality and Basel's opportunism should combine to break that 2-goal threshold. Fenerbahce versus Aston Villa, Europa League. This is a marquee matchup. Fenerbahce versus Aston Villa. European nights in Istanbul are famous for their intensity, and Fenerbahce will have a full stadium behind them. We love goals in this game because of the talent on display and the scenario of the group. So far in the Europa League, both these teams have been finding the net consistently. In 6 group matches, Fenerbahce scored 9 goals, 1.5 per game, and Aston Villa scored 10, around 1.67 per game. That's a lot of firepower, and neither side has kept every game tight at the back either. Villa conceded 4, Fener conceded 5 in those games. The atmosphere at the Shukru Saracoğlu Stadium will be electric. Fenerbahce loves to attack at home. They'll throw men forward, feed off the crowd's energy, and try to strike early. Aston Villa, under Unai Emery, have a strong offense themselves and a quick transitional game. They won't just sit and park the bus. Villa will counter with pace and look for their own chances. This dynamic is perfect for goals. Picture the flow. If Fener scores first, Villa have the quality. Think of players like Watkins or others in 2026 to respond. They've scored in basically all their group games so far. If Villa score first, Fenerbahce will double down on attack to avoid disappointing their fans. We could easily see a scenario where both teams score, but even if one team does all the scoring, we trust them to get 2 by themselves given their scoring averages. It might be a 2-0, 1-1, 2-1 type of match. We're very confident in over 1.5 goals here. The model flags this match as a high probability over due to the combination of Fener's home attacking prowess and Villa's overall quality edge. This is one of those games where you have talent on both ends and motivation for a win, a recipe for at least a couple of goals on the board. PAOK versus Real Betis, Europa League. Heading to Greece, PAOK versus Real Betis is another intriguing fixture for goals. PAOK at home in Thessaloniki are backed by a passionate crowd at Tumba Stadium that typically spurs them to play on the front foot. Real Betis, meanwhile, come from La Liga with an attacking philosophy of their own. Betis have been one of the higher-scoring teams in the Europa League's league phase. They've racked up 11 goals in 6 matches so far. That's almost 2 per game, showing that Betis games are rarely dull. In fact, Betis currently sit near the top of the group standings, and their approach has been to outscore opponents with players who know how to finish. PAOK won't be intimidated, though. They are very much still in the hunt to qualify, and as the home side, they'll be eager to get an early goal. Greek teams can sometimes be cautious, but PAOK knows that a draw here might not be enough in the penultimate round of a tight group. They'll have to take some risks, especially if Betis get on the score sheet. Consider Betis' style. They have creative midfielders and forwards like they traditionally do. Think of the Fakirs or Iscos of recent years, if still around, or others in 2026. They thrive in open play. However, Betis can also be vulnerable defensively away from home. PAOK will look to exploit that with set pieces or quick attacks. I see this game potentially starting a bit cagey, but one goal will break it open. For instance, if Betis scores first, quite possible given their firepower, PAOK will throw men forward in search of an equalizer, leaving gaps behind for Betis to exploit on the counter, which could lead to a second goal one way or another. On the other hand, if PAOK score first, Betis will increase the tempo to come back, and they certainly have the talent to do so. One way or another, it's hard to imagine this ends 0-0 or 1-0. A 1-1 draw could be on the cards, or a 2-0, 2-1 win for either side. Over 1.5 is the smart play, and our analytics agree. The model gives this matchup a strong probability to clear 2 goals, factoring in Betis' nearly 2-goal average per game and PAOK's home advantage prompting them to attack. We go into this pick expecting those Greek nets to bulge at least twice by full time. Al-Taawon versus Hazem, Saudi Pro League. Shifting to domestic action, let's look at Al-Taawon versus Hazem in the Saudi Pro League. This one screams value on over 1.5. Al-Taawon have been one of the stronger attacking sides in the league. To put it in perspective, Al-Taawon have scored 33 goals this season up to this point, whereas Hazem have only managed 13. The home team's firepower is clearly superior, and we expect them to find the net once or twice at least. Historically, Hazem has never beaten Al-Taawon in their last 10 meetings, 5 losses, 5 draws, and often concede in this fixture. The matchup tends to produce goals, roughly an average of 2.8 goals per game in those meetings. But even without history, just look at the dynamics now. Al-Taawon are fighting near the top end of the table, and they see a home game against a weaker Hazem as a chance to secure 3 points comfortably. They will go at Hazem from the first minute, likely creating plenty of chances. Hazem, to their credit, know they're underdogs, but that could actually help our cause. If they sit back, Taawon might score twice on their own. If Hazem tries to fight back and nick a result, they could get a goal themselves or leave even more space for Taawon to exploit. In fact, the data analysis from SportsMole gives over 1.5 a whopping 79% probability in this match. About as high as you'll ever see. The most likely scoreline that model predicts is a 2-1 win for Al-Taawon, which obviously would cash our bet and then some. Even 2-0 was high on the list of outcomes. Essentially, all the probable scenarios involve at least 2 total goals. We feel very confident here. Barring something bizarre like a red card slowing the game, this should be a straightforward high percentage over 1.5. The model's on it, the stats support it, and we're all over it. Goals in Saudi Arabia should flow for us in this one. Nova Iguaçu FC versus Fluminense, Championship. Next, we have a state league match in Brazil. Nova Iguaçu versus Fluminense in the Campeonato Carioca, Taça Guanabara. State championships can sometimes throw curveballs, but Fluminense games are often a class above when they face smaller teams. Fluminense is one of Rio de Janeiro's big powerhouse clubs, and Nova Iguaçu is a much smaller side. The gap in quality here is significant, and that usually means goals, especially from the favorite. Historically, Fluminense has absolutely dominated Nova Iguaçu. In their last 12 meetings, Fluminense have won 11 of them to Nova Iguaçu's 1, and those games averaged 2.75 goals per match. That's a strong historical trend toward multi-goal matches. Now consider motivation. This is early in the Taça Guanabara, the first stage of the state championship, and Fluminense will want to assert themselves and get a comfortable win. They likely field a strong lineup to get into rhythm. Nova Iguaçu, playing at home, will try to defend stoutly at first, but holding Flu's attack at bay for 90 minutes is a tall order. Fluminense's style under their recent managers has been very forward-thinking. They play possession and create a lot of chances through quick passing. I expect them to score at least one in the first half. Once the first goal comes, Nova Iguaçu will have a dilemma. Either open up to try and equalize, which could lead to Fluminense slicing them apart for a second goal, or stay back and inevitably concede again to the constant pressure. Either way, 2 goals should arrive. There's also the chance Nova Iguaçu themselves nick a goal, maybe a set piece or a counter, which would only help our cause. But frankly, Fluminense might cover this 1.5 on their own. It could end 2-0, 3-0, maybe even more if Flu really flexes their muscles. The over 1.5 is a very sensible pick given the mismatch in talent and the historical goal trends. Our model likes it as well, seeing a high likelihood of multiple goals. We're riding with the big team here to push this game into over territory with a professional, goal-scoring performance. Juventude versus Caxias, Brazil Campeonato Gaúcho. Now let's move to the south of Brazil for Juventude versus Caxias in the Gaúcho State League. At first glance, Gaúcho matches in Rio Grande do Sul can be low-scoring, cagey affairs. It's a region known for more defensive, gritty games. But this particular matchup has some indicators that over 1.5 is very attainable. Juventude and Caxias are local rivals of sorts, though not as big a rivalry as, say, Grêmio Inter, but there's still regional pride on the line. Both have started this state campaign in decent form and will be looking to make a statement. Statistically, there's reason for optimism on goals. 90% of Juventude's last 10 home games have seen at least 2 goals, so when Juventude plays in front of their crowd, goals tend to happen. Caxias, for their part, have seen over 1.5 goals in their last 4 matches straight, and in fact, their last couple of games have even gone over 2.5. So recently, Caxias matches are opening up more than usual. What this tells us is that both teams are finding the net and also conceding. Caxias have scored in each of their last 4 games, sometimes multiple goals, and Juventude likewise have scored in their last 4. On the field, Juventude, a club that has spent time in Brazil's top flight, will feel they have the edge in quality. They're playing at home in Alfredo Jaconi Stadium and will want to secure 3 points. I expect Juventude to be on the front foot, possibly scoring first. But Caxias is not a pushover. They'll likely fight back. Caxias might be content with a draw, but if they go behind, they'll push to equalize. 1 goal from Caxias would be enough to guarantee our over hits if Juventude get one too. A 1-1 draw is a very plausible outcome given both sides' decent form. Even a 2-0 win for either side, Juventude being the more likely winners, would do the job for us. It's worth noting that while Juventude's recent matches had under 2.5 goals, they often ended 1-1, 1-0, 2-0, right around that range. Over 1.5 still cashed most of the time. Our model sees a good chance for at least 2 goals here, aligning with those home-away trends. We're going against the old stereotype of low-scoring gaucho games and trusting the data and current form. In a competitive match like this, 2 goals is a modest ask. We're backing it with confidence. Velo Clube versus Guarani Campinas, Campeonato Paulista. Our final match is in the São Paulo State League, Paulista A1. Velo Clube versus Guarani. This one might not be on everyone's radar, but that's where we can find value. On paper, Guarani is the more famous club, a former Brazilian champion historically, whereas Velo Clube is a smaller team, relatively new to the top tier of the state championship. Early in the Paulista season, teams are still finding their stride, which can lead to some defensive errors and opportunities for goals. Let's look at recent form. Both teams have been finding the net in their recent games. Velo Clube have scored 7 goals in their last 5 matches, and Guarani have scored 6 in their last 5. That means on average, Velo is good for around 1.4 goals per game, and Guarani about 1.2. If they keep that up, we're already looking at roughly 2.5 total goals on average when they play. Now, historically, their head-to-head meetings have not been high-scoring, only about 1.75 goals on average in past matchups. But context is key. Those were different times, possibly in lower divisions or friendlies, and often low-scoring trends flip when conditions change. Here, the conditions favor more goals. Guarani have a point to prove. Surprisingly, they have never beaten Velo Clube in their last 5 meetings. That means Guarani will be extra motivated to finally get a win. To do that, they need goals. I expect Guarani to come out with attacking intent, pressing for that elusive victory. They have the squad to score. Typically, Guarani's lineup features a couple of dangerous forwards for this level. Velo Clube, playing at home in Rio Claro, won't just roll over. They've had a decent start, currently around mid-table early on, and in front of their fans, they'll try to at least get on the scoreboard. In fact, Velo has already shown they can hold Guarani to draws or better before, usually with tight defense. But if Guarani push hard, I think Velo's defense will be tested more than usual. A likely scenario is maybe Guarani 1-1 Velo, or Guarani 2-0 if they finally break through. Given both teams' recent scoring form, even a 1-1 draw is very achievable, and that's enough for our over 1.5. It's also possible Guarani finally open the floodgates and we get a 2-1 type of game. Our model sees a value edge on over 1.5 here because the odds might underestimate these smaller teams' ability to produce goals. But the data, recent goals scored, and the narrative, Guarani's motivation to win, Velo's home pride, both support a bet on goals. We'll trust that combination and take over 1.5, expecting the Paulista evening to give us some scoring action to wrap up the day. Outro, recap, and next steps. Those are our 9 picks for over 1.5 goals on January 22nd, and they all look strong. We've got a mix of Europa League showdowns, high-stakes league games, and even some Brazilian State League action, but the common thread is value on goals. Each analysis was backed by stats, trends, and smart reasoning, which is exactly why we've been so successful. We're not throwing darts, we're leveraging information and insight to beat the books. This is the kind of well-informed betting that bookies fear, and we're giving it to you for free every day. If you haven't already, join our Discord to see these picks tracked live and to get those extra in-play bets and updates. It's one thing to watch the recap after the fact, but it's a whole new level of excitement to be in the community as the wins come in. Plus, you'll get to verify everything with our wins board and daily tracking. You'll see every bet, every result, no filters. That transparency is why our community trusts us and keeps growing. We love seeing new members hop in, celebrate wins, and even share their own insights. So come be part of it. The link is in the description, waiting for you. Also, make sure to subscribe to the Masked FC YouTube channel if you haven't. By subscribing and turning on notifications, you won't miss any of our daily picks videos or special posts. We've been on an amazing run, 12 in a row and counting, and we plan to keep that going with quality content and picks. Subscribing is the best way to stay in the loop and ride this hot streak with us in real time. In summary, we have 9 games lined up, and we're approaching each with confidence. We trust our analysis, we trust our model, and we trust the process that's gotten us this far. Let's keep the momentum rolling into January 22nd and hopefully celebrate another clean sweep of over 1.5 wins. As always, bet smart, stick to the strategy, and manage your bankroll. We're playing the long game, and it's paying off. Thank you for watching and listening. Now it's over to the teams on the pitch. May the goals flow and our bets cash. Good luck to everyone tailing these picks. We'll see you in the next video with more tips and, hopefully, more winning streaks. Come join the Discord and let's keep beating those bookies together. Until next time, stay confident and happy betting.